Welcome on in, everybody. Post-game here, we have Blue Magic, your 2025 Rumph Classic champions, alongside Luke Meli. I'm Ray Dunn, taking you through the post-game show here from the Rumph Classic on Drexel University's campus. We're here at the DAC. A wonderful weekend of hoops just concluded, and Blue Magic looked like they were going to run away with this championship.
Yeah,
it's a 93-89 final you get today, but that was not really the story of the game for the first 30 minutes. The first 30 minutes looked like Blue Magic was going to take this championship. They were going to be able to walk out of here and maybe get to Landmark, enjoy an evening. Not the way it went down the stretch. The basketball bosses with a really, really impressive comeback to close this gap, make it a 4-point game by the end of this whole thing. And for a little while, they were sweating down there on the Blue Magic side.
And they had the entire crowd on their side as well for the basketball bosses. Every crowd likes a comeback. When TBB went down by 20, everybody switched to their side. It was a phenomenal finish. You had the great efforts of Mo Watson and Justin Jaworski down the stretch after Taylor Funk gave him a good first half. It just wasn't enough in the end, but it was an electric evening.
And Taylor Funk, too, in that second half. I mean, there was a tip-in that made it a 6-point game in the last, 5.5 minutes. Jaworski had a big three that cut the lead down, and they just kept kind of chipping away. Guy Funny kept saying one stop at a time, one stop at a time. They bought into it, but it just wasn't enough. And for Blue Magic, the MVP tonight, Archie Goodwin, with a huge weekend for him. A couple of 20-point efforts, including the 20-point effort here tonight. He just willed this team to a victory.
It's a really well-rounded group, but you're right. Down the stretch, it was the Archie Goodwin show. They were ISOing him and just letting him get them over the top every basket he could, and it was a great effort. I mean, TBB threw as many different defenders on him as they could. They tried to double him late, but it was just too late. Archie was too good.
Yeah, and it was definitely looked like that Blue Magic was in for a big night when I think early on Jordan Hall had 6 points late into that first half, and they already had a double-digit lead. And you just felt like they were going to be able to continue to grow on that lead. And the basketball bosses, to their credit, did a good job coming back. But you just saw the number of different ways that Blue Magic could be. Wayne Marshall in the big first half that really lifted them early on to that lead.
Yeah, you had Jordan Hall and Archie Goodwin not scoring a ton in that first half. It was Wayne Marshall, Ed Croswell. That showed how deep this team was, because Jordan Hall had 52 on night one. Archie Goodwin's been steady ever since, and then those guys come out, drop a great first half. That is why this team is the champion. They're so well-rounded.
And you mentioned Croswell and Marshall, what they brought size-wise just to this team. I think that was a big difference in what you got out of the effort here tonight. They did a really, really good job cleaning up, taking care of Croswell, especially early on in that game, cleaning up boards. He had a nice and one there in the first half. And that really set the tone, the physicality. It felt like championship basketball, but almost all weekend long. And you can speak to it, having been here for the last 5 days. It felt like this was Blue Magic's weekend. If there was a weekend for them to do it, the Jordan Hall 50-piece certainly gave a little bit of a precursor to what you're going to get for the weekend, but just the consistent effort all weekend long, you felt like they were on that path.
Yeah, they were the group to watch. You mentioned it. The 50-burger on night one kind of sets the tone for what team are we going to watch. We don't know who's going to show up. We don't know what team's going to stand out. That put Blue Magic at the top of everyone's boards right away. Then you have Archie Goodwin, who came in and dominated. They win a tight game against LOE on night two. That gave them the day off in between, and I think that was what really showed it. When they could win against LOE twice, they had to win it again yesterday. Just a phenomenal effort from Blue Magic.
Yeah, and they really put on a show. I mean, it was, again, a constant show from them. That first game, real back and forth. I think yesterday the basketball bosses being able to get themselves and win that game late. I mean, what became a tremendous second game yesterday on the slate. I think you saw maybe early on in this game a little bit of the effort that was exerted Sunday on one side and the effort late that wasn't exerted on the other one.
Yeah, it was Blue Magic. They just got out like that. And when there's so much talent on both of these teams, but it is so hard to mount a 20-point comeback when you've got your 5 best guys out there. You can get closer and closer, but then they're tired. By the time it's a 5 or a 3-point game, they're running out of gas. Mo Watson had to head to the bench just for a quick breather for anything he could, and it was just too little too late.
And you can say about Mo Watson, that's a man that knows what it takes to win here at the Rumph. He's got his name up there for a reason, but he really, really showed out late in that game, energy-wise, trying to make it happen for his team. But it is Blue Magic winning this one 93-89, taking the 2025 Rumph Classic Championship. So for Blue Magic, we're going to get a chance to be joined here. Joe Ross is going to get a chance to join us right now and pop onto the broadcast right now. He's got to take the calls. He's a champion now. He's got to be able to talk through whatever he's got going on. They just got presented the trophy down there on the floor here at the DAC. A tremendous weekend here. I mean, to see the way that this place was set up, to see the facilities, the way a lot of the pop-ups were put, a lot of the work that the foundation was doing surrounding the event, so much was really made possible by the room that Drexel gave here and just the space here at the facility. So now we get a chance to get Joe Ross in here and celebrate the champion. You are a champion.
Congratulations.
Finally, the journey at the Rumph ends with a championship. Take me through the feelings right now that you're having.
I'm going to steal a line from LeBron James. It's about damn time. I mean, first and foremost, it's the most competitive tournament that you could get into. You never know walking through the doors. I mean, you got the guys from overseas that you never ever see play. You only see stats and they're playing. Not only that, they're all on different teams with chemistry and played together overseas and in pros and different things. That's number one. Number two, if you lose, you got it's a dogfight to get back. So you have to beat 1, 2, 3 great teams, and then you got to place a person that also did the same thing as you in a championship. So, I don't even have to say that much how crazy that is. The other team went undefeated too and went through LOE and FOE and things of that nature as well. So this is the hardest tournament by far. I've been here 4 times. My first one. Every time I got here, I had to go 3-0 just to get here. The hardest part about this game is the intensity. When you win the first 3, when you got a 15-point lead, you're not never safe, but the clock is your friend. Here it's not because it stops. And teams is gonna make runs. It's about withstanding it and keeping your composure. The 2 times I got here, Rumph Center, I mean, we was up at half, we was up under a minute, maybe 6, 7, 8 points, and we wound up losing. With FOE, we was, just nip and tuck, and they wound up just putting us away and things of that nature. It's just so hard because you never know who will walk through the doors, like I said, and the championship was long. So no lead is safe, and you just got great teams, great coaches, great chemistry, great benches. And in order to have a championship team, you have to have people got to sacrifice. I'm coaching an Olympic team. Every guy here got a resume. Every guy here is a McDonald's All-American. They're something, right? They're the man that they over Germany or wherever they played overseas. I'm asking this guy to accept a role where he is the man. That's one of your hardest challenges as a coaches. When you win and make it better, when you lose, you second guess it for weeks and months. It's hard to live. And getting there 3 times kind of like demoralized me a little bit. I put a team in late. I was a little bit burnt. I didn't know if I was going to do it or not this year. But Jordan Hall called me and some of the guys, hey, what are we doing? We always in this. And Mike wasn't going to let me do it anyway. But Mike like, hey, is your team together? I'm like, Mike like, man, you're playing on Thursday, so. But the point is, like, it's tough, right? Because you don't have any practices. You have some professionals to come. Well, that's why they are professionals, because they're able to come together and do this. The point I'm making is, this is a hard tournament to win, because it's almost, when you lose, you're basically going home. Other than that, if you lose, it's an uphill battle, and you're playing winner teams because you fall in that bracket. So Danny Rumph is just the grandfather, granddaddy of them all. It's the WrestleMania of this thing. It's the NBA Finals. It's the Super Bowl. So if you win a Danny Rumph, and then, you could say, hey, look, we'll be back next year. Every other team getting better next year. It's the hardest thing in the world to repeat and do. I'm glad I got one. But, this tournament is special. You guys do a great job of bringing this to life. I want to thank you guys as well.
Thank you. And can you talk about your messaging down the stretch of this game? The crowd was on the other side because that was the underdog trying to come back. And you talk about guys accepting roles. That might be a little bit easier when you're up by 20, but in the guts of a close game like this with a crazy atmosphere, what was your messaging to the guys down the stretch?
Just keep your composure. Teams make runs, and stay with the guys that got you there. I got, Archie Goodwin is a great professional. Trayvon Duvall, Jordan Hall. Jordan Hall played defense. He had the guard funk. So offensively, he gave us what he had. And then down the stretch, Jordan, when somebody got it going, he deferred, right? And then Ed and Wayne played huge. You know, I asked Wayne, this 40-year-old guy, to give me 35 minutes, and he did. He's been with me. Wayne been with me for 15 years. So, but down the stretch, you just got to, it helped that we was up 18, 19. Down the stretch, you just got to maintain, keep your composure, and understand a few things. 1 or 2 make shots, 1 or 2 miss shots that could close the game because the clock is with us at the end of the day. Trey did an excellent job running down, even though we didn't make a shot, but it was under 40 seconds. And then by the time, you know, Wayne and T. Will closed it out with the layups and everything else. And T. Will was awesome come off the bench. Let me give him a shout out. He came in first half, he settled everything down, got to the bucket, got to a spot, played good. And then I brought him into a tough spot under 2 minutes. And he made rebounds, free throws, baskets. He closed the game out.
Yeah.
T. Will had the rest of the points to close the game out. The point I'm making is take a collective effort. It's just not one man army.
Well, I'm going to single out one man for a second here and take you back. You talk about the journey of this and how difficult it is to just get here and get everyone on the same page. Kind of easier when a guy goes for 50 in a game early on in this. Talk a little bit about what Jordan Hall gave you this weekend.
What Jordan Hall gave me was true professionalism. We came out, we were sluggish first game. We ran him all picks. He put the team away. He had 52. The next game, we played basically Chester, and Rondé Jefferson basically was guarding him. He was an elite NBA defender, and that was good. He could loosen up everybody else. He still got his numbers, but he was able to pass and get off the ball to loosen everybody else up because he got a high-level defender guarding him. Now, he comes into this game, I'm asking him to guard and move and guard a 6'10" power forward that shoots from deep range. The range that this kid shoot from, we really don't see it too often, not even in the league. If that's Steph Curry range where he pulls up from. So I'm asking him to guard, I'm asking him to rebound, and I'm asking him not to play point guard, I'm asking him to play small forward, power forward, and still get his numbers and do what he do. So Jordan Hall, man, I can't say enough about him. You know, he can play 1 through 4. You know, he's and his best attribute is passing. I'm asking him to come out of his comfort zone and be a scorer. Because he said, Jay, I'll pass. I said, I need you to do both. And he did it without a problem. Put his head down, okay, you need me to do both, I'm going to do it. So, you know, he had a great tournament.
And can you go into what Archie gave you in that second half? Everyone was getting involved in the first half, like you said, spreading it around. He puts up 21 of his 27 in that second half. What do you see from him down the stretch?
Well, Archie, it was funny because he was here Sunday. He had to fly Little Rock, Arkansas, get his kid to orientation and sign him up for school, and then fly back. He actually missed the flight. So we had to get another flight. Then I had to fly him to Atlanta. And then from Atlanta, I had to fly him to Philly. And then I had to have a driver wait there, get him here, and get him 1 minute before the game, and he wasn't able to stretch. He wasn't able to do anything. We changed in the hallway out there before we came in here, and I ran him in here, and I ran him basically for the starting lineup. So that was his. The guy came off the plane, literally came here, and I knew he wasn't going to have legs in the first half, but Jordan Hall and Trayvon Duval and everybody else pitched in, and then he got to go in second half. Now Jordan could concentrate on his defense on phone. That was major.
How worried were you?
I've been down here so many times to the point where the first 2 times I was down here, I was a nervous wreck. This time around, I've been down so many times. You know, a few times I lost the game having the time out in my pocket. So I made sure I used it. I made sure I got the guys' composure and settled them down. And this time around, believe it or not, you know, I was worried, but the worry level wasn't that high because I was like, you know, at the end of the day, it's 1 or 2 stops and a basket or 2 can seal it. So we was right on the doorstep right there. So I was confident the guys would just, you know, pull it off.
And specifically, how worried were you that he was not going to get off that plane in time to get himself here for this game?
I was a nervous wreck. I wasn't saying nothing. People were saying, what's wrong with you? You okay? You okay? You okay? I wasn't talking all day long. You know, I got off the phone, fast my girlfriend. What's wrong? What's wrong? Finally, I broke down like, Archie missed his flight. Everybody's like, oh my God. And the first person I told was Ed Coswell. I didn't want to tell the rest of the team. I told Ed. Ed was at my office every day. I said, Archie missed his flight. Ed said, oh my God, what are we going to do? And I said, I don't have a clue. And then you know, I was searching flights, and I finally got some stuff to get here. And, you know, and then, you know, by the grace of God, he was able to get here, man, because, you know, we'd be in trouble without him, man. We needed everybody to beat that. That's a great team, and you don't understand the preparation it takes to get past a team like that that just spread you out, and everybody can shoot the ball. And they got a big guy that does everything right. Roll to the basket, tip-ins, he play cleanup, and Clarence, he's a nightmare because the big is hard to guard with the big, hard to guard with somebody smaller. It's a tough team right there.
Joe, a champion at the Annual Rumph Classic. Thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy it tonight. I appreciate your time.
I'm going to soak this one in. I've been waiting so long. Hey, man, I'm going to soak this one in. I'm so happy about this Annual Rumph champion, man. This capped my year off really nice, capped my summer off.
Love to hear it. Well, Joe Ross, champion here at the Annual Rumph Classic. We're going to welcome in the MVP now. Yes. We're going to get ourselves Archie Goodwin in here to talk. You mentioned the massive second-half performance for him that helped lift this team to a championship. And what we just found out is that he has had quite a day. And that is where we're going to start the questioning here. Archie, congratulations to you on the Annual Rumph Classic championship today. Before we get into the game, we hear it's been a heck of a 24 hours for you. Walk me through a little bit of the travel troubles you had getting yourself back home and then back here.
Okay, so yesterday when I talked to Joe, I told him, like, man, if we win tomorrow, or the next day, I would love to come back, but I don't know if I'll be able to because I have to take my son to school. It's his first day. He was like, man, if we can find a flight, you can go home, and then if we can find one back, we'll get you back. So I looked online after we won the game, and I saw that it was a flight that landed here at 5 p.m., and so we booked it. So I went home last night, and I got home around 11:45. I had to wake up at 6 to go get my son ready and take him for his first day of school. My flight was leaving at 11. I get to the airport, they won't let me on the plane because the gate shut because the TSA was backed up. So I called Joe. I'm like, man, they're not letting me on the plane. Like, I'm thinking I'm not gonna be able to come. So we're looking at flights. So I book a flight. He books a flight for me to go from Little Rock to Atlanta, and we was gonna book a separate flight for me to go from Atlanta to Philadelphia on a different airline. So I booked the flight to go from Little Rock to Atlanta. I get to Atlanta. The flight from Atlanta to Philadelphia is delayed to 8:45. So then I call him again, and I'm like, man, the flight is delayed to 8:45. So now we find another flight on Spirit Airlines, and I booked that flight, and it left an hour after I just had landed. So I had to book that flight, go right to the gate, and I got on, and I got here at 8:07. And then I went straight from the airport, drove right up here to the game.
When did you realize you were going to make it?
Once we booked that flight to Spirit and I got on the plane. Okay. Because once I got on the plane, I knew that it was going to go then. But I was skeptical because it just hadn't gone right the whole day.
Right.
So I was like, man, maybe it's just not meant for me to come down here. But I told myself if I was getting on that flight and I caught down here, I wasn't going to lose because I went through too much to get here. And then to do all that and lose, I would be very upset. So I'm glad we got the win.
So you make it here, but then you don't really get time to go through any sort of routine. In the first half, you get 6 points. What was that halftime like, where you finally got your legs under you, and then you go out and drop 21 in the second half?
Well, what I did was, so on the way here, I was in the Escalade. I was stretching in the Escalade, trying to get my legs warm. I can only do so much. And then when I got here, I don't know if you guys saw me, I had a basketball. I was trying to shoot a couple form shots in here and there. But just as a basketball player, if you don't have a good sweat going and you don't have a rhythm going, and then the speed of the game kicks in, you will be a little rusty. So that first half, he allowed me to get my rhythm going, and I'm glad he didn't take me out because that might have messed me up if he would have took me out. But he allowed me to get my rhythm going, and me being out there as a decoy, even though I wasn't scoring, I can attract a lot of defenders, and you see that how heavy they were helping off on me or helping me and denying. So that opens up lanes for other guys as well. So it's all within the scheme of the game. And then that second half, like you said, I was able to get downhill, made a couple jumpers. So I was able to get my rhythm. I still didn't have my legs though, just from all the flying. That's why a lot of my shots were short. But as you've seen over the few first games, legs good, I'm good. But it was just, that's a part of the game though. Sometimes you come in a little fatigued, but I was able to get the win.
I'd say it worked out pretty well for you. This weekend certainly worked out pretty well for you. Save all the flying today, but it worked out pretty good over the last couple of days. For you, what was it like to get this experience here at the Annual Rumph? What was this weekend like for you, just to experience the atmosphere and just really what it is to be a part of the Annual Rumph Classic?
It's amazing. Like I was telling a couple guys here, I've always seen it on social media, and I'm really good friends with the Morris twins, and I know that they always played in it a lot. So I came, matter of fact, I was here last year during the the TBT tournament because I was in the Final Four, and we played here. So after our game, or before our game in the Final Four, I went to watch the Morris twins play in the Rumph, their first game, and I just saw how ecstatic the crowd was and the energy of it, and you could tell it's really a love for basketball here. And so I always said if I got a chance to come play in it, I would, and then I was able to do it this year.
Now, were you surprised? I guess you got to see some of it, but by the intensity of a game of a bunch of guys who've just come together. And your coach talked a lot about guys accepting roles here. Was there any surprise at the intensity level, both on the floor with guys that were just making a team together and the crowd in the stands?
Well, one thing I know about basketball, it brings out a competitive spirit in everybody. If you really love the game, it brings it out. And then you take it a step above when you're playing with guys who play professional. Yeah. It's a different level that you go to as a professional when it comes to being a competitor. And so, like, I know you guys saw Lamar Stevens, how hard he was competing when he was playing, you know. So I think that me knowing that, and I'm a professional myself, I know how serious I take the game, and I know as well, if you come out and you don't respect the game, then it'll work against you, you know. So I always think respect the game, respect your opponents, play as hard as you can, go out and compete, and I think I do a good job of that. I think that's why I've been able to be a professional for 13 years now, and I think I have many more years to go as long as I keep that attitude.
And you've talked quite a bit about just how rewarding of a year it's been for you, whether it be the CBA, whether it be the TBT, all of just the wonderful things going on in your career. To add this notch to your belt here, getting the MVP this week and a win a championship, what does it mean to you?
It means a lot. I worked so hard. Last year I had a kind of a down year, and I got in the gym with my brother Solomon Bozeman, Coach Jay, who else? John. All these guys, they're part of a staff at University of Arkansas Pine Bluff. The whole coaching staff there, Coach Monroe, those guys got with me, and man, they transformed my body, they transformed my game and my mind, and we took it to a whole nother level. And so a lot of what you see me doing is just from repetition over and over every single day, going there, sweating my heart out. If you go on my Instagram, and you will see, like, I have certain videos where I'm bringing my shirts out because I'm working so hard, and I put in so much work these past 2 years, and I'm starting to see reap the benefits of it. So I'm just going to continue to do that, stay even keel about it, continue to thank God, be humble about it, and just hope I can continue to do more.
Now, is there a return to the Rumph Classic in your future?
I definitely would say it is a return. It's always going to be circumstantial. Like, I don't know what next year holds for me, but if it's a time where I can come like I did this year, I'll for sure be back.
We'll make sure the flights go a little bit better this time around for you.
I'm going to tell Joe to give me a private flight next year, man.
You brought him the first Rumph championship. I feel like you have an opportunity to do that. But for you, just to like kind of encapsulate what today was, obviously meant a lot to you to get home and get your son to school. And, some of those moments you get combining basketball and combining family. It's tough when you're playing overseas to balance all those things out. To find that balance today, to strike that balance of seeing that special moment and then having this special moment here tonight, what was that like for you?
Oh, it was amazing. I prayed about it. I knew that one thing I'm always big on is prayer. I'm big in the Bible. I'm big in the church. I'm big on God, and I'm a real believer. And every time when I feel some type of doubt or I feel some type of discomfort about anything, I always pray on it. And then once I pray on it, I feel better about it. Whether it works out or it doesn't, that just meant it wasn't meant to happen or it was meant to happen. So I prayed on it last night. I prayed on it this morning, and it worked out for me in the best way possible. So I'm just grateful. And yeah, man, it was a doozy, but I've seen it happen so many times where in my life I think, like, man, there's no way this can turn out the way I want it to, and then it does. You know what I'm saying? And so, but it just comes from the power of prayer, the power of belief in my mind. That's how I believe, and I always go off of that, and I thrive off of that.
Well, we appreciate it so much. Congratulations to you on winning the MVP and winning the championship. Archie Goodwin, everyone, join us here on the post-game show. 27 points in the championship for him and getting that victory for Blue Magic. That's all we got for you here tonight. The Blue Magic, your 2025 Annual Rumph Classic champions. Joe Ross getting that first W, and now we're going to make this all work out when we get you back here next year on a good flight to ensure that they have the opportunity to defend that title. But again, 93-80 89 your final. We want to take a second and thank everyone that made this possible, from all of the wonderful people that are working behind the scenes with us here on the live stream, working on the 1,000 pieces of content that you will see. You will be asked to collab on about 1 million things, I can assure you, over the next 24 hours. But everyone already put the work in there, and all the wonderful people that go into making this event happen here for the Danny Rumph Classic and the Danny Rumph Foundation. We just absolutely thank you all from the bottom of our hearts for helping put this together. Another successful weekend of hoops, another wonderful championship game. A new champion is crowned, and now we got to go to the countdown to doing this all over again. So for Archie Goodwin, for Luke Meli, myself, Ray Dunn, this has been the post-game show, the Danny Rumph Classic Championship. Blue Magic taking the title this year. Thanks for